G'day Trendsetter, Stuart here, and today while I was at work I was flicking through the current Gardener Australia magazine, and one section in it is a Do It Now section, and one part of that was, and when I find it, take soft tip cuttings from fuchsias, Brunsfelsia and Tibouchinas. And I've been trying to grow cuttings of Tibouchinas for years without any luck, mainly because I've been using semi-hardwood cuttings in the middle of summer. So when I read that I thought, okay, soft tip cuttings, I can't see why they won't work, let's give it a go. But first, propagating mix. So I use just a basic perlite and potting mix, about 50-50. So I'll get that ready, and then I'll move over to the table and I'll show you how I do the cuttings. I used to know what perlite was. It's some sort of mineral that they cook it somehow and it fluffs it up. It's really light and airy. But when you mix it with potting mix, it opens the potting mix up, but it also retains moisture, and it is also good, or increases the drainage. So you can water more often without the mix becoming too wet, which is what you don't want when you're doing cuttings, especially soft tip cuttings. You can, if you want, just go and buy a proper branded or pre-mixed propagating mix, but I prefer to do it this way. There's nothing wrong with a bit of potting mix. Once you get half a bag of perlite into it, the amount of nutrient in here isn't going to worry any of your cuttings. It's not a bad little seed raising mix either. Right, I've just got some pots over here. Now you can either put 2 or 3 cuttings into each pot if you like, but in this case I'm going to put 1 in each. So fill it to the top. I'm not sure how many cuttings, I just took some. I've got a little Tibouchina at work, and it's not your normal purple one. It's got a beautiful white flower. I think I've got a short clip I can insert. To show you, and it's got these lovely little purpley red stamens in the middle. It's a gorgeous flower. I've only got it growing in a pot, but it is just a small shrub. Right, now I'll just move over to the table. That should be enough for now. Alright, so I've got my Tibouchina cuttings here. Just a few things before we start. Secateurs really need to be clean. Hygiene at this stage is important, because what we're doing is fairly major botanical surgery here. We're cutting a plant off from its root source, so you don't want any tearing, so your secateurs will need to be sharp as well. You don't want any tearing or bruising where you cut. Secondly, I like this rooting hormone, which you'll dip your cutting in before you put it into your mix. This is from Yates. It's called Clonex. and it's for softwood and semi-hardwood cuttings. It's a gel. You can get powders and all sorts. I just like the gel. I like the way it coats the cutting and stays on when you put it into your growing medium. And a dibbler, you'll need that, because again, you don't want to be sticking your cutting into your growing mix, because you can tear it and bruise it, and that's an area where disease and infection can get into your cutting. So you just dibble a little hole and then you stick your cutting in there. But we'll get to that. All right, I've just got to move the camera down close so I can show you what I'm doing with the cuttings. Just one thing about your cutting material, you prefer that your plant was healthy and growing well, and you take your cutting either early in the morning or late in the evening. Try and avoid the middle of the day unless you have no other choice. And if you've got a plastic bag, you can put them in a plastic bag. If you've got to transport them to where you're doing your cutting, just to help keep them moist and stop them from drying out, because remember, you've removed the plant from the root system, so this is the only thing keeping it alive. Now, this is I don't know if you can see, but this has got flower buds all through it, so any cutting material we take, we're going to have to remove those flower buds. So for now, so with a tip cutting, it's basically, as it says, soft tip cutting. All you really want is 2 nodes. So that this is the node that'll go into your potting mix, and we'll just take those leaves away. We have to take this flower out. Hang on, I need to put my glasses on. This is a bit delicate. Okay, right. You can halve this leaf here to stop transpiration, and that is basically your soft tip cutting. Now, I will just dip it into the rooting hormone, just halfway up that stem, and with my dibbler make a little hole, put the cutting down just out of the ground. That's it. That's basically a soft tip cutting. Now I've got a few more of those. I'll just move on through, find out what I got here. Here's a nice one here. Take those leaves off. Get that flower bud out of there. Yeah. Okay, reduce that by half. Just dip it into the hormone powder. Got another little pot here. Dibble. And repeat. So I'm going to get a few out of this bunch. I only want half a dozen. I might be a little bit early in this season. I mean, the Gardening Australia magazine is a spring edition, so I'll do this lot. If they don't look like they're doing the job for me, I'll have another go in another couple of weeks. But I think I'll do all right. The we're sort of probably having a fairly early spring at the moment. It's 24 degrees today. That's hardly winter weather anymore. Okay, I'll just do the rest of those and I'll catch up with you in the next part. Just something I thought of. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but when you take your cutting, you want to take it just below what we call a node. So where these two leaves come out, that's a node. So you just take your cutting, let's say 2 to 3 mils below where the leaves join the stem. Take those side shoots off again. Okay, that's your soft tip cutting again. Whoops, out of frame, soft tip cutting. Just another little side note, in case you're wondering, if you can, it's always desirable to get a cutting without a flower bud in it. It's basically easier because then you don't have to remove this, the bud out of the centre there. And the plant's just ready to go, and you can get a nice quick shoot from a cutting without a flower bud in it. But at this time of year, this Tibouchina is dead set. It's just got its flower buds everywhere. If maybe also in another, say 3-4 weeks, there will be more side shoots like this without flower buds on it that I can take cutting material from, but this is all I can find for now, so we've got to make do sometimes. Okay, just a few things left. I've done the cuttings, wee little tackers. You probably can't see much from back there. They don't look much, but here's hoping. So right now, all we need to do is water them in, give them a good drink. Now with watering, I'd probably water at least, well no, I would water every morning regardless. And secondly, what you need is a little trigger pack like this, just to mist. So if you're home, or when you get home, or up in the morning, after, just give the leaves a mist spray. You can do that as often as you like throughout the day. It just stops the leaf from dehydrating, or the cutting itself from dehydrating. I'll confirm that down just a little bit more. The other thing is, if you can get a hold of something like this, they make a great little mini glass house or hothouse. Put them anywhere you like. I prefer a bright as place as possible. If you've got a front porch or a window, where a room with a big window where the sun comes in, or I'll just be putting mine underneath a tree. So as bright as you can, but not in direct sunlight, and water every day, and mist. And strike at this time of year, I'd say within 4 weeks you should be seeing some sign of life or death, but hopefully more life than death. So there you go. If you've got any questions, just let me know in the comments. Any suggestions, any steps I've missed that other people might be interested in, just leave them in the comments. Be all appreciated. And I'll see you tomorrow for another video, hopefully. Cheers and bye.